Welcome to Escalation. In our previous video of strings part 1, we started with string mutability and learned about string literals on how to create strings using single, double, and triple quotes along with their differences. We also learned about one of the escape characters by using which we can avoid a character to be considered only while compiling. In this video, we are going to continue with strings and start by learning string prefixes to understand other ways of creating strings. When I say prefixes, it is a character or characters that are literally written just before the starting quote of a string. Just remember that there are 4 prefixes that can be used while creating strings. U, that stands for Unicode, B for byte, F formatted, R for raw. Let us start with Unicode strings. Unicode is nothing but a set of unique characters that represent symbols, letters of different languages, characters, etc. Which means for every character, there is a set of unique code set by the Unicode Consortium organization who are responsible for developing and maintaining these Unicode standards. If that is the case, there could be lakhs of Unicode characters, isn't it? Imagine all different letters from different languages, emojis, symbols, each one of them having a unique code attached to it so that we can use them in our systems. Our keyboards are limited to alphabets, numbers, and some special characters. What if I need to use other mathematical symbols that are not available in our keyboards? That's where Unicode comes into picture. Now, where do I see all these Unicode? Well, for that we can always refer to Wikipedia's list of Unicode characters as a dictionary. If you see, there are so many characters and each one of them have a unique set of characters that can be used. We have Latin characters, Greek letters, you also see Devanagari, Hindi, Kannada and possibly all regional language letters, mathematical symbols and much more. Let's look at emojis as an example just for fun. Wow, there are so many. How do I use them now? Let us say I want to print this smiley through my Python script, for which this table can be a reference and what we see starting with letter U is the Unicode. The last character X in these Unicode here refer to the respective column header. For example, the Unicode character for this smiley is U plus 1F60 and instead of an X, we'll have to use 0 as this column's header is 0. The way we consume this is by replacing plus with 0 so that the total number of characters would become 9 and always Unicode should have an escape character at the start which is a backslash. Let's try to print this. Hola, that's our smiley. Because we are using Python 3, all strings are considered as Unicode itself and it will automatically decode any Unicode characters. While in Python 2, we were supposed to use the prefix U to get this particular output. Now will this work if we have a sentence along with these Unicode? Let's try that. I will create a string that says, I love Python to code, where I will replace the word love with a Unicode that represent a heart in red color, making sure the prefix is U and that will still work. Hope you understood the usage of the prefix U here. Moving ahead to the prefix B, which stands for bytes. This is especially for the machine to understand, as in normal strings that we see on our screens are for users and bytes are for machine to understand. We'll see this in action by using B as the prefix and looking at the type of the string. That returns the type as bytes. I will create a similar string without the prefix. This is where we will understand bytes. Let me print the normal string and try to print the first 1 or 2 characters. Through our previous video, we learned that strings are nothing but sequences and hence it prints the character at respective index. Now, if I try to do the same with the byte that we have created here, we will see the numbers instead of the character. Which means while saving it, it is converting the character to a byte code which is understood by the machine. Where would we use this? We would use this while we are reading or writing to files, transferring data between APIs, or in network programming where data is shared as bytes. Next comes the prefix F, which stands for formatted. This is used to create dynamic strings. For example, I will have a value coding in a variable, and I will want to use it with different formats at different places in a string. For example, I want to use this value in another string where at the beginning it must be in proper case, and somewhere else it needs to be in lowercase. So using the prefix F on this string variable allows you to create a dynamic string and perform these formatting by using curly brackets and calling respective format functions. We will learn these formats in detail in our upcoming videos that will include operations on strings as well. Finally comes the prefix R, which stands for raw. Let's say I want to create a string comment which says Python for beginners. I am learning and exploring Python through escalation. Let me create this string with single quotes. Now my requirement is when I print this, the second phrase should be in the next line. Well, with single or double quotes, I cannot simply hit enter for a new line as it will throw a syntax error. For this scenario, we also learned about use of triple quotes, which will include these new lines automatically. Otherwise, we can use an escape character /n to have new lines printed when using single or double quotes. We will cover all escape characters in our next video. For now, let's print this to see the new line being printed. Now, for some use case, let us say we want to include all escape characters like /n in this example to be considered as text itself rather than an escape character, for which we will use raw format of the string by prefixing letter R just before the starting quote, which will consider any text inside the quotes as raw text itself rather than encoding all escape characters. Similarly, Unicode, bytes, be it anything with escape character, will all be considered as simple text itself. These prefixes are not case sensitive and can be used against all quotes, that is single, double and triple quotes, and the operation will not differ. We can also combine two prefixes. For example, we can use RF together to consider everything as raw but include the formatted value. It can be FR as well. Similarly, R and B, which will consider the string as raw but store it as bytes. I would request you to try these on your own, and it does keep you motivated to learn more in Python. In our next video, let us continue with escape characters. Subscribe to my channel to get notifications on upcoming videos.